Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go ahead and continue working on our project website here for this fictitious company called Shears Design. And the last several videos, we've gone ahead and set up the HTML structure and laid out this page using CSS. And you can see where we're at right now. We've got it pretty well laid out. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to go ahead and turn this document into a template that we can then use to create the different pages in our site. Now, a template in Dreamweaver is sort of like a model. It's a blueprint for what you're going to do with the rest of the pages in your site. So when you take a page like this and turn it into a template, you can then apply that template to the index page and the about page and the products page, services, contact, so on and so forth. Now, the advantage of using templates is the fact that there are two different regions in every template. There are editable regions and there are template regions. The editable regions is where you can put your content. This is where you customize the page. But the template regions are going to remain static. They're going to be the same on every single page. So in other words, things like this logo, our social media icons, our menu, and our banner here, and probably our little latest news sidebar right here, along with the footer, are going to be template regions on our page, meaning they're going to be the same on every single page. And it's this content area that we have right here that's going to have different content in every page. So in other words, what we're going to do is once we apply the template to the about page, this will all remain the same. And we'll be able to update and add new content to the editable region on the page. In addition to making it easy to create your pages and add custom content to it, it also makes it much easier to update your pages. Let's say a couple months from now we decide that we want to add some new headlines here. Now, if all you've done is created and saved a whole bunch of pages without a template, you would have to go update this sidebar on every single page. So if you've got 20 pages in your website, you would have to update this 20 times. But if you're using a template and you change the content in the template, then every page that has had that template applied to it will have that update automatically done. So instead of having to make 20 changes, you'll make one change that will flow or update all of the pages that have that template applied to it. So templates are very, very powerful inside of Dreamweaver. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead now and go to the File menu, and I'm going to select Save as Template. And I need to give my template a name. I'm going to go ahead and call this Shears-Main. And it needs to be one word. I'm using a dash in between Shears and main, so that counts. And this is going to be the main layout for the Shears page. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. It's going to ask me if I want to update my links. I do. So I'm going to click Yes there. And I now have a template. You can tell what's a template and what's an HTML page because the extension is going to be DWT, Dreamweaver Template, on the end of any template. Also, if I come over here to my Files panel, you're going to see I have a template folder. Now, if you can't see that template folder after you do Save as Template, click this little button right here. That's the refresh button. We've done that before when we've been trying to refresh a page. But if you click that there, it'll always refresh your files. And you can see inside of the template folder, I now have a file called Shears-Main. Now, once I have the template built, I need to go ahead and add editable regions to any area that I want to be able to customize. And again, on this page, all this header material, the logo, the social media, the top navigation, and the banner here, along with my latest news and my footer, those are all going to remain constant. Those are all going to be just template regions. It's this content area that I want to be able to change. So what I'm going to go ahead and do to make this into an editable region, I highlight all of the content in this area. Just like you would inside of Microsoft Word. Highlight all the content. Don't get any more than that, just get the content. And you're then going to go to the Insert menu, and you're going to find an option here for Template Objects. And you see Editable Region here. And what this is going to do is it's going to insert an editable region around the content that I've highlighted. So I can go ahead and click Editable Region here. I have to give this a name, and again, it needs to be one word. I'm going to go ahead and call this Content, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you can see this teal border that's now around my content. That's the area that I'm going to be able to edit on each page. If you wanted to make this right sidebar editable on each page, you could do the same thing there. You could highlight, go to Insert, Template Objects, and Editable Region, and I could call this Right Bar, or whatever you want to call it, and click OK. And now there's an editable region around that area, so I could customize that. But in this case, this isn't what I'm looking for, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit, Undo New Editable Region, and that'll take that back to normal. You're going to notice that the little header here sort of pushes your content down a little bit, but this is not visible to somebody looking at the page. It's only visible because you're in Design View right now. If I go into Live View, you're going to see that that disappears and it looks just like a normal page. So I've gone ahead, I'm going to come out of Live View back into Design View here, and I'm going to save this page and all the changes inside of it. I can do that just by right-clicking here and doing Save All. That's going to save all the changes that I have made, both in the style sheet and in the HTML code. And that's all there is to creating a template inside of Dreamweaver. But now what we need to go ahead and do is we need to go ahead and create all the individual pages for this site. Now I'm going to scroll up here to the top, and I'm actually going to open up this Properties panel because I need to be able to see a few things here. And you remember we created these links up here. When I click on Home, you remember the Home is linked to the index page. About goes to about.html. Products goes to products.html. Services to services.html. And contact to contact.html. So I need to create these 5 pages: index, about, products, services, and contact. And then I need to apply this template to those pages. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this and go back to my Files panel. Now, if you copied the files over from the framework, you already have an index page that's been created here. If not, just go ahead and right-click up here and do New File, and then make the index.html page. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you can see it's completely blank now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Modify, Template, and I'm going to say Apply Template to Page. All the templates that are in your site are going to be listed here. Since I just have one, that's the only thing that I have listed here. But in a little bit, we're going to create a second template that's going to have a full width content area, one that doesn't have that right hand sidebar. And you'll see how we can have a second template in our design. So I'm going to go ahead and select that template and click Select, and sure enough, all this material has been added to our page. And I also want you to notice as you hover over the different template regions on this page, you can see your cursor now has that circle with the slash through it, and that means that you cannot edit this page and this region of this page. But when I scroll down here to my editable region, your cursor changes to something normal. So I can begin to edit the content in this area. But again, the right sidebar and the footer area are locked out. So I'm going to go ahead now and right-click and save. And I'm going to close this. And now we need to create the next 4 pages: About, Product, Services, and Contact. So I'm going to come over here to the Files panel. I'm going to right-click on my top folder and select New File. And I'm going to go ahead and make this about.html. Right click here again in new file, and this is just creating blank HTML pages. Products.html. Right click one more time, services.html, and finally we're going to go ahead and do contact.html. So I have my 5 pages in my site. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up About. Again, you'll see it's blank. I'm going to go to Modify, Template, Apply Template to Page. Select that main one, and there I go with my About page. I'm going to go ahead and open up Products and do the exact same thing. Apply the template to the page, and I've got that one. Open up Services, Modify, Templates, Apply Template to Page. You can see how easy it is. Once you get your model set up correctly, which in this case was the main file, and convert that into a template, it's very easy to create as many pages as you want in your site. The real work is getting that model set up exactly the way you want it to be. And finally, we'll come over here to Files and Contact, Modify, Templates, Apply Template to Page, select our template, and then we've got that set up. So you can see I've got my next 4 pages here. And actually you can see each one of these 4 pages has an asterisk after the name, meaning that it has unsaved changes on it. So I can just go ahead and right click up here and do Save All, and that's going to save all of my pages. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to right click here and I'm going to say Close All, and I'm going to open my index page back up, and I want to view this in a browser. So I'm going to click right here. Whenever you want to preview a page, you're going to click right here, and all of your browsers will be listed here. All of your browsers will be listed here. If you only have Internet Explorer and Firefox installed on your computer, those are the only 2 that you'll be able to see, but you can add as many browsers as you want here. And if you want to add a browser, you can go to Edit Browser List and add it. So I'm going to go ahead and select Chrome because that's the browser that I like working with, and you can see the original here, and there is the one that we've actually just created. So I'm going to go ahead and click on About, and you'll see it went to about.htm. Products, it switched to that one. Services, switched to that one. Contact, switched to that one. So now I'm going to go ahead and customize these pages just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, I don't want to open up main. I want to go ahead and open up the About file. And I'm going to go ahead and say About Shears Design Studio. And we'll save that. Maybe I'll delete some of these images here because we won't need those on every page, but I will leave that filler text in there. We'll go ahead and do the products page also. Again, I'm going to go ahead and say Shears Design Products. And again, I'm going to go ahead and delete those images because I don't need those on this page. And then we're going to go ahead and do Services. And again, Shears Design Services. And I'll delete those images. And this is just like working inside of Microsoft Word as far as editing the text. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and go to the contact page. And this is where we're going to have that form. So I'm going to go ahead and type Contact Shears Design Studio. And again, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to delete the text after that as well. And then the form is going to go here. And we'll be doing that in another video. And again, I'm going to go ahead and right click up here and say Save All to save all of my changes. And if I bring up my browser window here and refresh my page, you can see my home page. When I go to About, it changes to that page, Products, Services, and Contact. So I now have a complete website set up. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to create another template, a second template. And this template, instead of having a right-hand sidebar, we're going to allow the content area to go all the way across. And the reason for that is we need a page for services here. And you can see this featured content slider that we have right down here. That's what I want to go ahead and put on this page. Again, in another video, but we need to set the page up for it. And you can see it goes all the way across the content area. So I'm going to go ahead here and close this. And I'm going to go ahead and close all of these pages. Now, the page that we used to create our first template from was that main page. So I'm going to come over here to Files, and I'm going to open up Main. And we're going to go ahead and adjust this to fit our new design, or our new page layout. So the first thing I want to do is remove this right-hand sidebar, and then I want to go ahead and stretch this content area all the way across the page. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Code View here, and I'm looking at my HTML. I'm looking at my source code, and I'm going to scroll down, and there's my content area, and here's my right side area. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight this entire div here and press Delete. And that'll get rid of that. When I go back into Design View, you can see that has disappeared. But you're going to notice the content area hasn't expanded to fill that entire area. So we still have a little work to do. Now, when I come back in here to the code area, you can see the div for the content is called Content. And that's going to be, or the ID for the div that has the content in it is called Content. And that div is formatted in our CSS. Scroll down here to my containers. That div is formatted right here. And you can see the width of this is set for 650, and it's floating to the left. What we need to do is we need to expand that out to the full width of the page. We want it to take up 100% of the available space. So we can't use the name content here. We can't just change the width here to 900 because that would affect all of the other pages that we want to have the right-hand sidebar. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. I'm going to create another ID style, and I'm going to go ahead and call it Content Full Width. Whoops. And then I'm going to go ahead and do an opening and closing curly bracket. And this is where I'm going to set the width to being 100%. So it goes all the way across the page. So I'm going to go ahead and set that. And I'm going to go back into my source code. And I'm going to change the name of the div here, not on all the other pages, to Content Full Width. And if you want, what you could do is you could highlight this, copy it. Notice I didn't grab the little number sign. The number sign and the period on class styles are only in your CSS sheet. When you refer to them, you just refer to the name. I'm going to come in here to source code here, and I'm going to paste that in. So this is now a full width content area. I'll go ahead and save this and go back into Design View, and now you can see that that's going all the way across my area. So now that I have this laid out in the way that I want it, let's create the second template. Again, I'm going to go to the File menu and select Save as Template, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Shears Full Width, and then save. It's going to ask me if I want to update the links. I do, yes. And there I go. I've got my template. And you'll see the extension DWT right there. And when I look in my files, you'll see there's a second template that's been created. Now, I still need to add the editable region in. So again, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to highlight all of this content right here. I'm not going to get the footer, just the content in the content area. And I'm going to go to the Insert menu, select Template Objects, and choose Editable Region. and this is going to be the content region. I'll hit OK, and now that you can see that content region has encompassed the entire content area. I'll go ahead and save this and close it. So now I have two templates. I have the template with the right-hand sidebar, which I'm going to use for most of my pages, but I also have a full width template that I can apply to pages that I don't want to have the right sidebar, like the services page. Now, when we open up the services page right here, you're going to notice that we've already applied, obviously, a template to this page. So what do we do about applying this, the second template to this page? Now, you could do this one of two ways. One is you can go to Modify, Templates, and Apply Template to Page again, and select the template that you want to use. I'll then click Select, and it will be applied to your page. And you can see the right-hand sidebar has disappeared, and it's also going all the way across the page. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't work 100% of the time. So if you apply a template to a page that already has a template applied to it, and your formatting and your structure gets messy, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into Code View. You're going to go to the Edit menu and click Select All, and then delete everything. And you can delete everything just simply by hitting the Delete key on your keyboard. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I left out a step there. Excuse me. If you want to, if your formatting gets messed up when you apply a template to a page, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to the Modify menu, Templates, and you're going to say Detach from Template. Once the template has been detached from the page, you can then go into Code View, select everything, and delete it. Then save your page. When you go back into Design View, you're not going to see anything at all. You've got a blank, clean slate. And then you can go to Modify, Templates, Apply Template to Page, and select the template that you want, and it will be applied on there for you. So again, a lot of times you can just reapply a different template and it'll take fine. If not, if there's a problem, go to the Modify menu, select Templates, and detach the original template, and then go into Code View, delete everything, and then reapply the template that you actually want to use. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to go ahead and delete these two images here, and this is going to be where that featured content slider is going to go. So we'll save that, and let's take a look at this in our browser, and you can see the full width layout. And if I come in here and come to Home, you'll see that still remains the same. About remains the same, but when I come to Services, that's going to give me a full width layout. You could create as many layouts as you want for your site. We have one with a right-hand sidebar and a content area. I could create another one at this point with a left-hand sidebar and content area. I could create a fourth template that has a left sidebar, a right sidebar, and a central content area. You can create as many different templates for as many different layouts as you're going to need in your site. Smaller sites just may need one or two templates, but if you've got a larger site that has 20, 30, 50 pages inside of it, you may find that you're creating 5, 6, 7, 10 templates to satisfy everything that you need. You don't want to go too crazy though, because again, if you create a template for every single page, that negates the ease of updating groups of pages at one time by just updating the template. So that's how you create and apply templates to pages inside of Dreamweaver. And at this point, we've got our pages pretty well set up. Now what I want to go ahead and do is begin to explore the different content areas. I want to go ahead and on the home page, I want to create these rollovers here. So we're going to see how we do that. We're also going to see how we make this content slider that fades the images in and out and has that drop down box on it. And again, that's going to be another video. When we come to the services page, I'm going to show you how to set up this featured service slider that will rotate between the different groups here and will also allow you to link to other pages. We're going to go ahead and see how we can set up multiple columns in this hybrid layout right here. And again, this is just sort of a variant of the full page layout. And we're going to see how to do these modal pop-ups in another video. And again, a modal pop-up, you've seen these before on web pages, are one where you click a link and the background fades out and you get this pop-up window. When you close the pop-up, the page reappears after it disappears. So we'll see how to do that as well. We're going to see how to also do an image gallery. And this is a lot like the modal pop-ups, but instead of bringing up a box that has text inside of it, we're just going to go ahead and show an image. And you can see how that appears. And the modal pop-up can also have images in it. The advantage of this gallery tool is you've got the previous and next buttons here, a big close button, and most importantly, you can display a caption for the image, so you could describe that. And again, I can go image by image through here, back and forth, through as many of these as I want. I've just got 5 images here, but it would be the exact same process if you had 50 images on a page. So that's where we're headed in the next several videos. We're going to go ahead and explore how we could set up these different content features inside of Dreamweaver. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.